All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Monday, September 7th, 2020, and of course, it is that time of year again. The NFL is about to be starting this week. I can't believe we are finally back to the NFL. I'm very, very excited. We have Thursday, this Thursday, we have football, actual regular season football. We didn't get a preseason whatsoever, so we actually have football returning this Thursday. I believe it's Texans at Texans and Chiefs and all that. So it's going to be very, very fun. Very excited. We've done our pick'em. Last year, of course, we did pick'em. We picked very well at 64%. I'll go over kind of how I did the last couple of years in pick'em to establish any kind of authority or any kind of credibility, authority, whatever word you'd like to use there. So this is I'm very excited to do this. Hopefully we do quite well. So I hope I do well on pick'em this year, man. I mean, this year, the beginning of this is going to be a little hard. I think the first 4 weeks of pick'em this year are going to be difficult on the fact that we didn't have a preseason. And I think a lot of teams that are like more established, like veteran wise, have more of a returning presence, not a whole bunch of new players. I think those are the teams that are going to do really well early on in the season because they've had actual game time together. So again, we'll see how the picks play out. Everything should be pretty well normal. So let's get started. Let's jump into what would be Thursday night football for our week 1 NFL pick'em. At 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be the Houston Texans playing in Kansas City to take on the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry. The line for this game is 9.5. The Chiefs are 9.5 point favorites with an over/under of 53.5. So all the lines come from FanDuel, by the way. So you just go to FanDuel. It's just FanDuel. That's where you get these the lines from. That's the lines I'm using. And so I have the Chiefs winning this game 35-24, and a lot of that's because the Chiefs are returning 20 starters out of 22 starters from their Super Bowl team. They're super well. They have very good chemistry. The coaching's all the same, basically. Everything, they're healthy. They're good to go. They're ready to start the season. They're going to be coming out hot because you got to come out hot after you win the Super Bowl, or else you look kind of weird. So, and then regarding the Texans, I think their offense is going to be good, but I think it's going to have some lag on it the first couple weeks. It's kind of new running back, a couple new receivers. You just lost Hopkins. I'm wondering how it's going to develop and look in the first couple weeks. It might be a little slow to come out of the gate. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I also am wondering what their defense is going to look like. Is it going to be able to stop Kansas City? And kind of the same to Kansas City, is the defense actually going to be able to deal with the Texans at the same point? The only reason I think this game is not going to be like a 40-point shootout type deal is because of the fact I don't know what the Texans offense is going to look like right away out of the gate. New running backs, new receivers, a little confused, a little curious. So so I feel like this is going to be a good game. I do think the Chiefs get the better of the Texans based on, chemistry, based on familiarity with each other. And I think that the Texans defense is going to be suspect. I don't think the Chiefs defense is going to be super great. I just think the Texans aren't going to be, I feel like this is going to be a very common theme as teams just won't seem ready in week 1. That's going to be the biggest theme, I think. And I feel like the Texans are going to be a victim of that versus a team that's going to be very ready to go. So I have the Chiefs winning 35-24. Sunday, 1 p.m. game. There's 9 of these. So we have the Bills and the Jets. The Bills are 6.5 point favorites. And it's an over/under of 39.5. So the Jets are playing. I don't know if there's going to be fans. I don't think so. The Bills were a playoff team last year. I think they are a pretty good team overall, minus the quarterback situation for them. The Jets, I think they're a pretty bad team. I think they have a bad roster again, sadly. I think they could be better than what they were last year, maybe. But that really depends on what that O-line looks like and what the receiving situation looks like. I don't think it's going to be ready by week 1. I think they're a team that's going to suffer till about week 5, and then they'll be a little bit more cohesive. Whereas the Bills, they have a pretty familiar team. So I like the Bills winning this game 20-13. They have a great defense, and they should dominate this Jets team. Oh, shit. And then we have the Vikings and the Packers. I think these two teams will split their games, and I think it's going to be a home-home situation. I know there's not fans, but I think the Vikings will take this first game at home versus the Green Bay Packers. It's a line of the Vikings are 2.5 point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. Again, it's one of those. I think that defense of the Vikings is going to be very, very overwhelming for teams right away with Yannick and Danielle Hunter. And then, they have all these new pieces in the secondary. And of course, and these two games are always competitive. The Packers and the Vikings, they always play very good games. It's always super close, and usually it might go the way of the home team. So that's why I'm leaning towards the Vikings in the opener, and like later in the season, unless the Packers or the Vikings are a complete mess or just completely dominant, one of the two, I would go towards the Packers. See, this is it's a situation of being the home team, and not knowing what either of the teams are going to look like. If they're the same teams as last year, then yeah, this is probably what the game will be. If the Packers aren't as good as they were last year, then it could be worse. Or if the vice versa, if the Vikings aren't as good. So this game was kind of hard to pick. It's kind of a toss-up. I know most people are going to probably go Packers. I think Vikings at home have an advantage. I know there's going to be no fans, but, even the odds makers say Vikings. So, I feel like it's a toss-up. This one felt like a toss-up. It was hard to pick that one. This one was, that one was hard. This one was silly easy. The Washington football team hosts its very first game as the football team. And they have to play the Philadelphia Eagles, who I have winning 31-13. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. I think a lot of what's going to happen in this game is weird turnovers by the football team on offense, which will allow the Eagles to just kind of rack points up at weird situations. I don't know how bad the Washington football team's defense is, but I just think the Eagles are like 6 leagues better than this team. I think the football team might be one of the worst teams in the league this year, along with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, yeah, man, I don't really have a lot to this. If the fucking football team wins this game, that's one of the craziest upsets I've ever seen. And if they do upset the Eagles in this game, watch out for the football team this year. This will be an interesting game. I like there's a lot of good division matchup. Bills, Jets, Vikings, Packers, Ravens, Browns so far. So I like that. I like that there's division intrigue as soon as the season starts up. And this one is the Ravens hosting the Browns. The Ravens are 7.5-point favorites with an over-under of 48.5. And I'm going with the Ravens as well. It's the same situation as the Texans. I don't think the Browns are going to be a bad football team. And I like the Ravens being at home too in this one, kind of a similar as the Packers Vikings. I think there's a lot of newness with the Browns, whereas the fucking Ravens are running back the same team basically with Patrick Queen and Calais Campbell on defense. It's basically the same situation for the Ravens, so they're going to be ready to go. Everyone's just kind of got to get warmed up after a quarter probably, get the rust off. Boom, the Ravens will be back out doing big things right away. I think the Browns are going to be interesting because they might be in a new offensive situation, new coaching. It might take a game or two for the Browns to kick into gear. You know what I mean? So that's why I like the Ravens winning this game 35-28. Plus the Ravens are going to be really good. They're going to be hard to beat this year. Their defense is way improved last year with the additions of Campbell and Queen. Should improve their rush defense. Should pay major dividends in this game. So give me the Ravens 35-28. Well, I don't know. Speaking of the devil, the Jacksonville Jaguars host the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 7.5-point. I don't know why that line's so small. Colts are a lot of small lines in games where they want to do blowout lines, because even odds makers are like, dude, we didn't have a preseason. We have no idea how to pick these games right now. We're basically just going to give a touchdown leads to like everybody. I think 7.5 has been one of the highest, consistently the highest one I've seen. Which is crazy to think about, because there are some games that usually would be blowout lines, by the way, if there was a preseason, I think. So again, the Colts are 7.5-point favorites, over under a 44.5. The Jags are tanking. I don't think they're going to win this game. So then the Colts are going to try and do big things to show off Phillip Rivers in his Colts debut. So I like the Colts winning this one 38-7. Not a lot to say about that game. Sorry. Raiders and Panthers, an interesting game nonetheless, I would say. The first game for the Las Vegas Raiders, kind of cool. It's kind of like the Washington football team first game. The Raiders are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47.5, and I'm going with the Raiders to win this game 20-14. It's not that I don't like Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey and what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball in Carolina. And it's very new, so I'm thinking there's going to be some rust out of the gate. I think both these teams are going to have rust out of the gate, but the thing is, in this game, I trust the Raiders defense more than I trust the Panthers defense. I have no idea what the Panthers are going to be doing post Luke Kuechly on that defense. And I mean, it was a bad defense last year somewhat, and it's going to be even, I don't see how it's going to be better without him. Derek Brown's a good start, but like, really could have used Simmons if you somehow could have got him. If you're the Panthers, that sucks that you couldn't get him or you didn't draft him. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But I really don't trust that defense of the Panthers, and I think that's going to cost them a lot of games, especially early in this game, where it could be a low-scoring disaster thing to see teams put up points in this game, only because of the newness, familiarity. The game breaker is obviously McCaffrey, but again, I still trust the Raiders defense to be able to make the key stops. Whereas if it comes down to like a 14-14 game, I do not trust the Panthers to have to make that stop, whereas I trust the Raiders to make the stop. Just because I really don't think the Panthers have a good defense this season. This isn't. I wanted to call this my upset. Damn it! I fucking spelled Lions. God damn it! The Lions are Chicago Bears at Detroit Lions. The Lions are favored by 3. So the Lions are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. I would bet the under on this game. I'm going Detroit in this game simply because they are starting Mitchell Trubisky. I don't trust the Bears offense a little bit. I think the Detroit Lions defense has dramatically improved with the additions of Jamie Collins, Danny Shelton, Daron Harmon, Desmond Trufant, Jeff Okudah. Yeah, we lost Darius Slay, but I mean, I just listed a whole bunch of dudes that we've added in to make this team a little bit better. The linebacking core is going to be a lot better with Collins. The defensive line is going to have some real presence with Big Danny Shelton, who is bigger than Vince Wilfork. Go look it up. So I'm very excited about what Detroit's defense could even potentially be. It's their weak spot. And not to mention, Detroit's offense could be elite this year with Marvin Jones Jr., Kenny Golladay, TJ Hawkinson, Jesse James, Stafford, Kerryon Johnson, Swift, Adrian Peterson. That's a very good, explosive potential offense that Detroit has. Whereas the Bears, man, they got Mitch Trubisky and Allen Robinson. That's their, and a good running back. I think a good running back. I don't know how good the Bears are going to be on defense. It was kind of up and down for them last year. Let's see if they can still have it. We'll see. We'll see for the Bears. It'll be an interesting year for the Bears and the Lions. I think both these teams have big years ahead of them. Because if both teams do bad, I could see both their coaches being on the hot seat this year. It's an interesting situation for the both of them. But give me the Lions over the Bears 24-17. Screw Chicago. Yeah, I don't know actually why I made this one so close. I should have made it 31-21. I actually don't think this score. The Seahawks are going to go play the Falcons. And I also think in the Lions being at home, though no fans, that's part of it too. I like to go home teams. It's hard to pick right now, guys. So I have the Seahawks winning 31-28 over the Falcons. The Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites with an over-under of 49.5. I think it's going to be a good offensive game is what I was thinking. Because both teams have pretty solid offenses and pretty well-established teams. The offense of the Falcons is well-established. Seahawks know each other. Everybody's been playing together for a year or two. So they have I don't think either offense is going to sputter. I think both their defenses are going to be trash in this game. The Falcons are generally probably going to have a bad defense early. A lot of new faces. And the Seahawks, their defense is not that good. They might be good with Jamal Adams in the secondary a little bit better now. Just throw to the other side of the field, though, that he doesn't go to. So, I don't know. I like the Seahawks winning this one. I should have done 31-21, but I guess 31-28 is cool. Yeah, I don't think anyone in the world expected me to pick the Miami Dolphins to beat us. It's in New England. They're not winning. I know they beat us last year in New England. I really don't want to hear about it. It's not going to happen again. I don't want to hear about that. The Dolphins are booty. All right. That's the end of this conversation. The Patriots are 6.5-point favorites. Very good line. It's been one of the consistently almost the highest. Over-under of 43. And, yeah, I do like the Patriots to win. I know we lost quite a few players, but I like the replacements. I've liked what I've seen out of camp. I like what I'm seeing. Cam Newton's going to be an interesting part of the team. I don't think teams are ready for what the Patriots offense is going to be bringing to the table. And, yeah, especially when you've been game planning for 17 years for a pocket quarterback. Now we're running the RPO. good luck with the Patriots this year. And I think the Dolphins are entirely new. Like, that whole team is brand new. There's going to be some growing pains. I think the Dolphins, by about 5 or 6 games, will have themselves figured out. There's going to be growing pains for this Dolphins team. They have a potentially good future, though. Good for them. All right, let's go to the 1 p.m. games, or the 4 p.m. games. Chargers over Bengals. I think the Chargers defense is just going to shit all over this young Bengals team. The Chargers are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit here. But yeah, so the Chargers are favored over the Bengals. I agree with it. I like the Chargers to win this. I don't think the Bengals are going to look terrible, but I don't know what they're going to look like. I have no idea what the Bengals are going to look like. And I think the Chargers can dog walk them on their defense. Another situation, I think that it could be a close game depending on the health of the 49ers. The 49ers are 7-point favorites over under a 47.5. But again, I don't trust the Arizona Cardinals offensive line in the slightest till I see it. I don't necessarily know what the defense is going to look like for the Cardinals, so we'll see. They're kind of like the Texas Tech of the NFL, hilariously. Like, they look like they can score some points, but what's the defense looking like for real? Budda Baker and Peterson going to stop everybody? I don't know about that. So we'll see with how this goes. I'd like the 49ers to win this game because I do think they're just a better team. But I think the Cardinals could be pretty good this year if their line's good. And then finally, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. This is the final of the 4 p.m. games. The Saints are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 49.5. Of course, so it's pretty good so far. I think the Saints will win this game. I think the Bucs are going to struggle for about like a lot of other teams. They're going to struggle the first few weeks of the season until they get established, get some chemistry, get some game time, some actual game time in. And I think the Saints are going to take advantage of that in their early matchup. I think the Bucs take the later matchup, so kind of a trade-off. So give me the Saints 31-21 over the Bucs only because it's early, and the Saints are a pretty well-established situation. I think the Rams are going to get shit on by the Cowboys on Sunday. So Sunday night, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys being hosted by the Rams. New stadium, very exciting. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 51.5. Cowboys will win this game, I think 35-21, right about in that range. So, that seems about right. Only because I don't trust the Rams offensive line, and the Cowboys have a very good defensive front. So I think they're going to get enormous amounts of pressure on Goff, which will cause them to lose the game. So basically, that's why they're going to lose. The Rams are going to lose a lot of games because I don't think they did anything to fix that offensive line. Cowboys have a really good defensive front. And they should have a good offense. We'll see. Big chance for the Cowboys to prove everybody wrong. So, Cowboys, give me the Cowboys. The first Monday, so this is a situation where Big Ben's coming back. The Steelers, and this is Monday Night Football. There's 2 games, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. It'll be the Steelers and Giants in the first one. Steelers are 4.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47.5. I like the Steelers winning this game for a couple reasons. I don't think the Giants offense is going to be ready for the Steelers defense. I don't think that the Giants are a bad little football team, but I think the Steelers defense is going to be a top 3 unit this year, and they're going to come in and they're going to cause all sorts of chaos early in a football season when if you have a good defense, you might be able to take advantage of some teams. And the Steelers, I think they're going to be good on offense with Big Ben back. They're going to want to show out. I think they're still going to have some slowness, but I think they're going to be able to do some damage to a defense that isn't necessarily the best in the Giants. That's why I like the Steelers over the Giants. And then at 10 p.m., in Denver, we have another Monday Night Football game at 10:20 Eastern Standard. We have the Denver Broncos hosting the Tennessee Titans. The Broncos are 1-point favorites with an over-under of 41. I have the Titans winning this game because I like the Titans defense a lot. I think the Broncos aren't a bad team. I have them making the play. I have both these teams in the playoffs, actually. So I just have the Titans winning week 1. I think the Titans defense and the Mike Vrabel situation and just how they're like returning everybody, and they added Jadeveon Clowney. It's a very decent team. This should be an interesting game. I feel like I like the Titans a little bit more than I like the Broncos this year, only because of like the Titans seem like I don't know what it is. I guess I got to see the Broncos before I think like I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, we're going forward with Drew Lock. I'd like to see him play another playoff team. I know he beat a playoff team. I'd like to see him play a team like the Titans, get a good win, and then I can jump on the train. Till then, The Titans are going to run with Derrick Henry wild. Their defense is going to be fucking crazy, and they're going to be well coached. It's going to be hard to face that team. Not trying to take anything from the Broncos. You know, they're up and coming, but I think they're a really young team, and the Titans necessarily aren't. That's the difference. Titans experience wins them that game. But what gives me any authority? My first season of Pick'em, I went 158, 152, 98, and 2. I missed a few games because of like Thursday nights and stuff. And like a week or something. And then last year I did every single game and we picked 64%, going 164, 91, and 1. So I'm hoping we can improve on those numbers this following season. I genuinely do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave your picks down below. We can do a head-to-head pick 'em like we've done for the past couple years. See who does better every single week. Make sure you leave them down below. I'll be sure I'm very good about this pick 'em video stuff. Leave a like to get this video out there. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We do pick 'ems every week. I genuinely hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very excited to be able to make these again. Please, please, please. Thank you so much for listening. Please, leave your picks, leave your thoughts down below, and I will be sure to get back to you, even if they're negative. You could say I suck at this, and we'll have a fight. All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much again. Hopefully we have a good year. Can we get 50 likes on this video? That'd be crazy. 50 likes would be insane. Have a good one. Go Patriots. Go Lions. I can't wait for the season, dude. It's so close. All right, thank you. Peace. Should I wait for 21 minutes even? 21. You know the rapper 21 who's British? That was pretty crazy.